Hey, hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I do want to discuss here Diaochan. We're going to make this a two-part video. Number one, we're going to go over the awakenings because there was an awakening shuffle that happened here with this hero before she's actually introduced to the game. And so now it makes a little bit more sense in terms of how her awakenings are lined up based on the order and what she's bringing into the table with each one of those. And for part two, I want to show you a brief run with her in a GvG defense, because I really want to at least get that answered for the community as to whether she's going to be viable. And I'll show you exactly what's going on with her AI and how she's functioning, and whether she is going to work there. All right, so let me go here and pick my A5 one. So here's how things changed. So I am again going to put the pictures up here that I posted on my last video. And so we thought that the A3 was actually going to do this. Now they put it up to the A1. So we only need to awaken her one time for her to get that extra range increase. So essentially she's gaining a tile in every column that she is able to cover. So she is covering more allies, and so that will make her just that first awakening just make her so much better. Essentially what happened was that they flipped this 3 here. So the third one now, which was the first one, is now during her passive, the turn rose, it increases the damage reduction of the Serenade of Hope by 5%. So instead of having piercing and magic damage reduction at 20%, now you're going to get it at 25%. And then it also increases the number of targets affected by the Song of Sorrow by 1. So in the Song of Sorrow, we can go back to her passive here just so you can take a look at here with this one. Is that in the Song of Sorrow, she is actually given 2 of her allies increased penetration, and those 2 allies are the ones with the highest attack. So if you can get her to awaken 3, now you increase that to 3. So that's exactly what the awakening is doing. And then 4 still increased penetration, and now makes more sense that on the 5th awakening, now you are not only gaining this extra 500% in healing when you're in the Serenade of Hope mode, but you also gain with the Song of Sorrow, now you're gaining rage regeneration. So for this part here, this is the one that I found really intriguing as to what it was at A1 instead of the increased range, but now they reversed that. So that's the changes that are coming into play with her awakening. So in that first video, I did go over the old ones, and now they have revised them here in this one. So now I hope that it kind of makes sense now as exactly which awakening you're going to have to go for when you're trying to increase her range, the coverage area, everybody that is getting healed or everybody that is getting inspiration. So we're still here on the test server. I was fortunate enough to get Destin to help me out and set up some defenses with both Lubu and Diaochan here, but we're going to focus on Diaochan on this one because I just want to show you exactly how her AI is working and whether she is going to be a suitable hero to depend on for GvG. So he did not make an overpowered defense because we were able to then showcase exactly what's going on in this setting here, and so I'm going to show you that. And I do have to mention here with Destin, he was kind enough to let me join his guild for season 7 of GvG after, unfortunately, I had to find a new home. But after that situation got cleared up, he invited me to come over, so we're now part of the Rising Horde. So if you're a GvG savvy and you're looking to elevate your game, or you think that you can possibly contribute to the Rising Horde in trying to get us, consistently pushing the top 10, please feel welcome to come over to the Discord. I'm going to put the link here, and I'll put it in the description of the video, and apply and see if we can somehow find room for you to come join and do battles for us. Now, do keep in mind, please, that we're not going to be a guild that is going to have unrealistic expectations, and so we will value community over having some type of dream that we're going to knock off Matt from the top of the Libram, because we know that's not going to happen in the near future. Here's how we're going to show this in terms of how she is behaving here in GvG. So The first thing to notice is exactly which mode she's going to start with. So right away, as you can see here, she changed to the Song of Sorrow. So right now, technically, she's gaining attack, and she's inspiring everybody around here. So let me release this guy first, just to have something for them to activate their ultimates. And then I'm gonna release these slaughters here. All right, so here we go. So now what we're looking for is exactly what's going to change her mode, right? What's going to lead to her becoming a healer. And then remember that even though she switches to a healer, she's still, with her passive, is still able to have some inspiration given to them. So that was the thing that we were concerned about, is that her attack interval is just too low. So here, let me release them again. Her attack interval is just, I should say, too high for us to make her a competent healer. So in this kind of setup here, what we're thinking, if Diaochan is actually going to give us the benefit of giving us more damage to our DPS, that we're actually going to have to team her up with another healer. Okay, so maybe a team that has a constance in it. That's something that we can toy around with. But see, by the time that she realizes that Cyrus needs to be healed, it's just too late. Cyrus is already taking too much damage, and I'm just using slaughters here. So if this would be a combination of slaughters and daggers, or you can just say a double wave of slaughters, they're going to go right through the tank. So again, here, I'm going to show you again. So keep an eye on when she actually decides to switch modes. And see, look at that health. And then now she switches, but it's too late. We already got the immortality out of the way. We got Cyrus out of the way. And now we're just running through things. So this is one of the debates that we're going to have with her if we want to make her viable, which I think is going to be really hard, especially for the Overlord ranks, is that we are going to need to somehow either see if a Constance could supplement the healing while she switches. But again, you're going to need so much high speed to get that attack interval even into the 2.5 range. Because she's already started, she's already at 6 seconds at base. So in my in one of the builds that I have here for her, I have her at 452 speed. So I'm going to show you again, 452 speed. So we're only bringing down this to 3.2 seconds. So yes, so even with those builds, as you saw there, so let me go back here again, because even with the builds that Destin put together for me, that they're not overpowered builds, okay, but you saw that they were doing very good damage. I mean, they're definitely benefiting from that inspiration. It's just the healing aspect of it is what's lacking here. And so in this regard, you're gonna have to exactly use her. You're going to have to complement her with an actual healer. So you got to think about then, is your composition going to be viable enough with 2 DPSs to cover ground, to make sure that you don't get swarm, and cover air? And then everything else that she's going to give you in terms of inspiration. So there he goes. I mean, yeah, so that's exactly what we're seeing here. So let me, let me exit out. We're going to quit this, and then let's just look at the damage that these heroes were able to do. And I mean, Ares is doing enough of a job just as I expect him to be, and he's probably getting boosted from her, but it's just she's not behaving like the healer that we expected her to behave there. So in terms of GvG viability, I'm going to put her at the low end right now. But like I told Destin, I think that any further testing that we do either in our guild to see if we can make her competent is going to have to come down to teaming her up with another healer, unfortunately. Now, the other thing about the GvG aspect of her. And this is something that I was actually trying to set up teams for Destin here. And so when I went to the keep, this is the one where I was telling Destin, it's going to be really hard for me to find a spot for her, unfortunately. So one of the things, if you saw our collaboration where we actually started covering the maps and started to theorycraft as to what type of defenses we're going to do. So basically down here, we're not putting any defenses here. And any type of defense that we put here on this side that we saw, they're just getting run through. They might win 2 or 3 times, but eventually it's figured out and they crash right through. So everything is being restricted to this side of the map. So one of the things here is that because of her range, so here we have an Awaken 3, I think it is, that I was able to put here because of her range. So you can kind of see that one of the things that is going to be lacking is if we put here this healer in this spot here, then it won't cover the position of the tank, which is what we need her to be if she was a healer. But if you just want to use her as an inspiration hero, then we can just she will just be inspiring the hero that is in this style here, and in this platform here. And then if we put her back here, she's only covering one of these styles again. But again, this style is really vulnerable to garner guards if you don't have any type of CC down here to cover for them, okay? Or you don't have a magic damage dealer that can extend out and try to protect this platform unit here. So yes, so it's going to be very, very difficult to use her. And if you put her here, you're putting your defense at a great disadvantage. It's because you're now restricted to the DPS being here in these 2 tiles here and maybe a ground unit here, but that's about it. And then again, she's not going to heal as effectively as you think she's going to do. So you either put a ground DPS with another one, like a mage here, or a marksman, and you put another ground tile here, and then have another healer back here. But then again, in that type of formation, you're not going to have enough coverage. So like, that's the unfortunate part for her, is that her range is going to make her difficult to really place a good defense, at least in the keep for this season. And then for the tower map, there's one spot for her that might work, is if you have her awakened. If you have her awakened, because if she's not awakened, she's not going to cover this tile here. And then if you put her all the way up here to cover this tile here, okay, with your tank. So let me pull this tank back. So you would need to place her here, right? So if that's going to be the case, then you're actually going to make your defense vulnerable, because now you don't have anybody here that can extend down and do damage here. You're just going to get clapped right away, because the healers should technically be back here. So at least for these maps in this season, it's going to be really hard to make her work. Now, if you wanted to put her here to inspire 2 other heroes, like this ground hero and another DPS back here like Ingrid, you can definitely do that if you want to. But you're gonna have to complement with another healer to make sure that your defender doesn't get trucked over, like I showed you before. So no. So at this point in time, I'm gonna say Diaochan, no, she's not gonna be viable for GvG, especially this season. It's going to be very difficult to utilize her in these maps, especially with her range and her coverage and how her AI is working in terms of switching between the 2 modes. So there you go. So a revised version on the awakenings for Diaochan. So now you know what to expect and possibly how many awakenings you want to chase depending on what you want to get her to do. If you want to get a little bit more damage reduction, you want to increase the number of targets that benefit from the Song of Sorrow, or if you just want the extra range, then you just have to go to A1. And I also then just give you a brief overview of how she's doing. She's going to do in GvG, which unfortunately, I don't think that she'll be the hero that we're going to be dependent on. We're just going to have to stick with the healers that we know work well for now. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. Please do remember to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next Watch Your Realms video.